Hello and welcome to Horror Stories. My name is Jbae. Unfortunately, we do not have Liam with us today, but that doesn't mean we're not going to go over everything that is horror and everything that is gore about the nightlife industry. So we're going to do things a little bit different today. Obviously, as you can tell, I am in a different location. What we're going to start migrating to do is we're going to do all the same things, telling stories, answering questions, all of that good stuff. But since it is summertime, Walter and I are going to be going on trips to ghost towns around Nevada. And we are going to share that with you guys. So anytime you see Horror Stories Adventures, that means it will also include a snippet of our trip that you can watch on the YouTube version. We'll see if it makes sense to have it on the podcast version, because usually it's going to be a lot of visual stuff, but I guess we will go as a test from this episode and we will keep it going. But all right, guys, for our episode today, we have our creepy facts. We have a listener sending question. We also have a listener send in story. And then we have a little trip that me and Walter went on that we're going to share with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and start off with our creepy facts. Okay, this is 10 gruesome facts you wish you didn't know. Number 1, during medieval executions, people were sometimes boiled alive. The process could take hours, with victims screaming until their skin peeled off and organs cooked slowly. Dude, could you imagine being a lobster or a crab? Like, just, that is so gross. I cannot imagine. I think being boiled alive. Oh my God. With your skin just coming off? Why don't you just get out? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Ew, 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 ew. Me and Walter watched this documentary about people who got caught where a volcano erupted. And like, when people were rescuing them, they would grab their hands and the skin would come right off of their freaking hand. Oh God. Oh. Okay. Number 2. Some body parts stay alive after death. Fingernails and hair don't actually grow. The skin around them shrinks, making it look like the body is still changing. So, I'm guessing if you dug someone up, their hair and their nails would just look long. I've seen some girls who have passed away and like their friends did a full glam beat nail set. So don't tell me that I would have grown out nails if I get oh, stop. Okay, number 3. In rare cases, people can feel everything during surgery. Oh, good. It's called anesthesia awareness. They can feel the knife, the pain, but can't move or scream. Luckily, I don't have that problem. I got my tatas chopped off and I don't remember one thing. So luckily, yeah, no, that's terrible. That kind of reminds me of one of our first episodes when we talked about how they didn't give babies anesthesia. That is just mortifying, okay? Okay. Number 4. The ancient Chinese used a torture method called death by 1,000 cuts. Each cut was designed to avoid vital organs, so the victim stayed alive as long as possible. Dude, if I get a paper cut, I'm having a bad day. Number 5. Some corpses have given birth after death. At least they didn't feel it. Actually, OMG. Don't they like keep some women's bodies alive now? Even if they're like brain dead? until it has the baby. That's fucked up. Okay. The pressure from gas buildup in a pregnant woman's body can force the fetus out post-mortem, called a coffin birth. Sickening. People have survived being trapped in their own decaying bodies. One man was paralyzed but conscious and could feel the worms crawling in his flesh as his body began to rot. Gross. That would be terrible. Like, I don't understand how you can feel worms crawling in you if you're paralyzed. I call cap. Vultures can smell death from over a mile away. I can too. Some of you girls, your feet stink. And often begin eating before the animal is fully dead. Nature doesn't wait. Well, neither do I. You stink. Number 8, your brain can remain conscious for up to 7 minutes after death. I think we've already read one like this. You may hear your own death being declared. You might be aware you're dead. I mean, what are you going to do? Die? Okay, number 9. The average murder takes place less than a mile from the victim's home. I think that's also true for car accidents. You're more likely to be killed by someone you know and possibly sleep next to. Walter, don't even think about it. Number 10. There's a condition where your body eats itself. Good. Skinny. In extreme starvation, your body will literally digest its own muscles and organs to survive until there's nothing left. So basically, when you hear your stomach going, that's when it's eating itself. Independent girl, boss queen, eat yourself, bitch. Yeah. All right, that's all of our facts for today. Let's go ahead and move on over to our listener send-in questions. This is from Alani Riri. The header says, bartender to bottle girl. Hey, Horror Stories team, I have a question for Jess. Hey, Jess, I did listen to the first podcast when you talked about working in the nightclub. What was it like? I'm thinking about working in a nightclub as a bottle girl. Do they pay more than being a bartender? Tell me your thoughts and experiences and let me know if I should be a bottle girl. Okay, so let's think about it this way. It all depends on what city you're in, what nightclub you're at, how busy it is. If you have a very high volume place that is getting a lot of bottle sales, then hell yeah, you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of money, girl. When I was doing bottle service at the pool, at the GSR, I was making like $2,000 a day. But I wasn't having to share my tips with everybody. I got the choice to keep my own tips. So me and my friend Bailey, we would decide to share and we would run amok between a few cabanas and just rake it in. And I mean, we were making $2,000 each. So, but then again, I'm like a hard worker. It's not just something that just is like, you're going to stand there and be pretty and just make like $2,000. Not in Reno, at least. I mean, in Vegas, maybe. I don't really know. I went to Club Zeke and the barbacks were running like crazy and the bottle girls were like, hey, so like, what do you guys want? Oh, okay, your total's going to be 15 grand. Okay, thanks. And then they bring it out and they're like, okay, bye. But like, not all places are like that. I'm sure that was just my one experience. But I mean, damn. There's nights where I would bartend and I would make easy $800 to $1,000 at a strip club when I was at Peppermint Hippo. I guess it all just really comes down to the place. If you're a good bartender, then you're going to make good money. when I was at Lex, sometimes the bartenders would do better, sometimes the bottle girls would do better. It really just depends on how good your bottle girls are. When I owned my nightclub, the bartenders were killing it and the bottle girls were not. But it all just comes down to, are you going to upsell? Are you going to sell bottles before your shift? Are you going to go out and promote? Like, there's so much to being a bottle girl besides showing up for the job than there is just bartending. Because if you're just bartending, you know people are going to come up to the bar. 1,000%. With bottle service, there could be nights where nobody wants to buy a bottle. So they'll have you out on the dance floor dancing with the customers and trying to sell a bottle. And if that club has hosts, VIP hosts that like stand at the front and try to sell bottles, walk around the casino, like that's nice. But it's really kind of up to you. So if you do have an opportunity, go ahead and try. It's always fun to try. See how you like it. If it's not for you, then just go back to bartending. But I would recommend maybe bottle service in a strip club, because strip clubs are an environment where everybody likes to showboat. They like to be the biggest, coolest, baddest guy in the room, have all the attention on them, have all the girls looking at them, hanging around them. So a bottle only makes sense because they get the service, they get the girls. And then on top of that, you're walking around to all the other tables that aren't per se doing bottle service, but you're still making your $20 tip here, $10 tip here, $5 tip. You know what I mean? And it all starts to add up. The only job where I've made buku bucks is stripping. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents for that. I really hope that you have good luck, Alani. Thank you for sending in your question. I think it's awesome that you guys send in questions. It's like, oh my God, cool. You guys trust me and what I have to say. It's weird. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and move on to our send-in story. This is going to be from a well-known bartender here, Brian Donalson, here in Reno. So he was supposed to come on and be a guest, but they just had a baby and they're just moving into a new house, so they're super busy. And he says, I can totally tell their story. He wants to be on eventually. And yeah, so let me go ahead and get to this story. Okay, so just a trigger warning. This story does talk about suicide. So, I will include the suicide hotline number and everything at the end. But if that's just something that is just a little too triggering for you, then go ahead and you can skip forward to our horror stories adventure section. Okay. It was the summer of 2004 in Reno, a time when the air was thick with the heat and the pulse of the city. I was working as a bartender at Harrah's when we hired this incredible guy, Jorge. He was from El Salvador, smart, handsome, full of life. He was juggling a full-time job and studying at UNR. Instantly, we became friends. Jorge was more than just a colleague. He was like family. Since I didn't have my driver's license back then, Jorge would often drop me off after my shifts. One night, during one of my rides home, he opened up. He told me that he struggled with depression, that he had even thought about ending his own life. I remember looking at him and reassuring him, you're valued. You are loved. That night, I got out of his car and thought about our conversation again. Big mistake. But how was I supposed to know what would follow? Jorge fell in love with a beautiful Korean cocktail waitress, and for a while, things seemed perfect. But summer's warmth gave way to the chill of change. Jorge, wanting to see what else was out there, broke things off. She, in turn, swiftly moved on, and the pain hit him hard. Okay. Guys always want to see what's out there, and then the girl moves on, and they're like, devastated. Jealousy, heartbreak, his depression deepened. Days turned darker as fall crept in. Halloween was coming. Hey, that's my birthday. But the weather was brutal, eerily cold, as if winter had already arrived early. Then, Jorge disappeared. He didn't show up for his shifts. No calls, no texts. The staff grew anxious, but I knew something was wrong. The next day, still no sign of him. I felt a gnawing fear. I left work and went to his apartment, braving the frigid air on my motorcycle, speeding through the empty streets. I knocked, music playing faintly through the door. Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. The door was unlocked. Odd. I peeked inside and instantly, I knew. My stomach sank. I saw him lying there, pale and still. Blood splatter on the wall above his bed told me what I feared most. Jorge was gone. I called 911, my voice breaking as I sobbed uncontrollably. The paramedics arrived, and I was asked to speak with the coroner. She was kind, compassionate, but her words cut deep. Jorge had shot himself with a .357. The gun had accidentally fired twice. The chaplain came to speak with me afterward. His words have never left me. Sometimes God puts us where we're meant to find someone. Maybe it was meant for you to find Jorge. In the aftermath, I felt a guilt that haunted me to this day. A weight of survivor's guilt that lingered for years. I carried it like a scar. It took a relapse in 2015, a sweat lodge, and years of therapy to begin healing. As I write this now, I get emotional all over again. It still hurts deeply. Brian wanted me to include that when he found him deceased, he felt like his soul imprinted on him. He felt haunted by him for years. Once he let him go, he believes his soul was at peace. That's really sad, dude. Okay. If this story resonates with you, or if you or someone you love is struggling, please remember, you are not alone. Reach out for help. The National Suicide Hotline is available 24/7 at 1-800-273-TALK or 1-800-273-8255. Because sometimes just sharing your story can be the first step towards healing. Woo, holy shit. Okay. That definitely hello. That definitely struck a chord with me. I have lost a lot of friends to suicide. I have had multiple occasions where I've attempted, and I think that's another big reason why it's so important for me to stick with my sober journey, you know. I truly believe that you can get yourself into the deepest, darkest pits of hell in your mind, and it's really hard to climb out. But you have to remember that there are so many people that love you and count on you and would be devastated if you weren't around. And it's very selfish. No matter how much pain you're in, it's a selfish act. So please, you guys, if any of you watching this are feeling lonely or like you need help, please reach out. Please reach out to us here and we can figure out how to get you help. I think the biggest reason why we started this channel was to talk about our traumas. You know, it started from a young age, and there's just a lot of fucked up shit that's happened in this world to us and to a lot of people. And I just think this is just a good way for me and for other people to kind of write out their feelings and to kind of put these terrible feelings to rest, you know? I think the story that I told called The Mimic, when I talked about the death of my mom, reliving it is hard. Reliving these moments, the nightmares of your life, it's hard. But I truly believe that if you don't talk about things, if you don't begin to heal, everything is just going to bottle up until it just explodes. So I'm just really happy to have this outlet and to have however many people want to listen to me, whether it's 20 people or 1,000,000 people or whatever. I don't care. This isn't so much about, being famous or making a quick buck. This is something I'm passionate about and something that I want people to be able to send in stories or come on and speak passionately about their experiences. So, guys, thank you so much for sending in these stories. And I appreciate it so much to even have one viewer. That just means I'm at least touching the heart of at least one person, So, let's stop being freaking whiny crybabies. Jesus Christ. Okay, so now I think what we'll do is I will go ahead and cut it forward to our Horror Stories adventure. And if you can't see it or hear it on our podcast version, please go over to our Horror Stories podcast YouTube, and you can watch the full episode with the adventure portion. And yeah, guys, so here we go. We started our day off heading north from Reno. Of course, we had to stop and get a Frosty, and I ordered the size small, obviously. On the way up to the ghost town, Walter pulled us off onto this beautiful river so we could take a dip in. It was so hot outside. Obvi, I made him take a cute pic of me for the gram. Walking back to the car was kind of cold. Walter said I looked like a wet pencil, and I agree. We came up on this cute little town so we could stop and get some water and a sweatshirt. The girl was so nice to us, so Walter bought her a candy bar. All of the houses were so pretty and gave a peek into the past. We loved seeing all of the flowers and trees surrounding them. Time to head up the dirt road to get to the ghost town before the sun goes down. The roads were quite bumpy, but the Bronco drove like a champ. I think my favorite part of the roads were the orange sand. It covered the car completely. We saw a cool cave, and I told Walter that he could move in there for the winter. The views were breathtaking, and the heights made us a little dizzy. We threw the Bronco into 4L to climb up some pretty rocky roads, and we found out there was a camera that shows you exactly what's in front of the car so you don't fall off a cliff. Being that high up made the air feel so fresh. I tried to capture some deer we saw, but no luck. Little fuckers are so fast. Now we've come up to Howland Flat, the first portion of the ghost town. You can pause to read. Basically, this is the old Wells Fargo Bank. This town has a population of 1,500 people by the year 1860. There was so much rusted remains we had to be careful not to get scratched. The last remains standing of the bank is the vault door frame. In the back is the remains of an old water well, and next to it is a large plot of beautiful purple flowers. Somehow, I caught one of my favorite bugs, the bumblebee. Did you know bumblebees take naps in flowers with their little bums and legs dangling out? Next on the adventure was the cemetery. We first come across an old house that reminded me of Dorothy's house that landed on The Witch and the Wizard of Oz. It was creepy, but also really beautiful. It seems as though some of the people still pay their respects with flowers and even a necklace, as you can see here. From what we gathered by reading the grave plots, a lot of these people passed away in the summer months, and a few a day before my birthday on Halloween.
We've made it to the cemetery. Erland R. Tweed, January 9th, 1920. To June 15th, 1980. This town is a ghost town. Don't step on anything green. Look at these. You thinking this is some sort of family that died together? Yeah, these are the gourds. Wow, they all died in this summer. Walter. That guy's name is Walter. Walter, Alice, and Nellie. They all died in the summer. Died August, died July, died 4th of July. Loving daughter of Henry and Mary Gord.
Must have been a sickness.
They all died in the summer. She died on the 4th of July.
It's a big one.
Hellbach. Years old. Died in 1901. Look at this one. He was born May 18th, 1878 and died July 3rd. What the heck? 1916. Wow, that's beautiful. Loving son of T.W. and K. Hayes, 1917. Wow. Oh, look at this. Edna, daughter of T.W. and K.E. Hayes. Is it rude that we're walking on their graves? Okay. Well, guys, this is quite a sight. It's really fun to come and see all this stuff. Do you feel creeped out yet? Right here we have the Synods. They also died in July 3rd and August 23rd. So I'm guessing the summers here were really rough because a lot of people passed away on these dates. Take a look at this.
Oh, that was a big one.
Wow.
All of the headstones had so much lovely detailed artwork. It was so sad to see that the tree fell and broke a lot of the headstones. I wonder what that signifies. We started to work our way over to the abandoned homes when we realized there was someone living in one, and we got a really bad feeling walking by their house. An odd smell emitted from their house, so we decided to walk through this field of flowers instead to keep our distance. On the ground, there were a lot of old remnants of cans and plates, and after some research, we found out that there was a large Chinese population that lived here in this old mining town. Here you can see the old outhouse with a toilet. Something will definitely bite you in the ass there. Here I try to get as much footage as I can of the inside of the abandoned house without going inside. It's too dangerous to try to risk
stepping on any of the old floors and possibly falling through. Fortunately, we couldn't see what was upstairs, but I got this very creepy feeling panning through the window, as if someone was peering back at me. Time to head back to the car as quickly and as quietly as possible. So we just saw the ghost house. It's too broken for us to even go inside. But I don't think we'd want to go inside there anyways. What do you think was upstairs? I don't know. Now it was time for us to get back on the trail and head back to the lake because it's still so hot. We found this little road that led right down to the water. We jumped out and jumped in. The pebbles were so soft from a sort of clay that covered them, leaving our skin and hair super soft. The water was refreshing but not too cold. About a few steps in and you could dive into the water where it was too deep to touch, but then walk slowly out. Simply perfect. We jumped in and now we're ready to go see our friends. Time to head back to Quincy and say hello to some old friends and get a well-deserved bite to eat. Just our luck, we saw some deer. A mommy and 2 little babes pranced around away from the road, making me so excited because I couldn't capture any of the other deer we saw that day. Passing by an old bridge, we knew we were getting close to town. In small towns like this, things tend to close early, so luckily, we made it to Quintopia Brewing Co. right as they were doing last call for food. We didn't have our favorite Coke Zero, so we decided to try this diet root beer, and it was bad. But the food, it was so good. We got hamburger fries, bacon Brussels sprouts, and this amazing Asian chicken sandwich. Walking back to the car, we were enveloped by a beautiful sunset and treated by some flame performers practicing in the park across the way from our car. With a full moon and full bellies, we ended our perfect day driving back to Reno and slipping into a hot shower and clean bed.
All right, guys, that was awesome. Me and Walter had so much fun on that trip. Now, I know I said that we were going to be traveling around Nevada, but we were in California around Quincy. We're not giving the exact location. I'm not allowed to because Walter's like, no, this is our secret spot. So, but this trip to this lake and this ghost town is what kind of sprouted the idea for us to start looking at the map and seeing that there's so many ghost towns and like hot springs and cool stuff around Nevada that we want to travel to and think it would be fun. And if my eyes get to see it, why not yours? So, yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it for today. Please send in your stories, send in your questions. I love it. It literally warms my heart when I get an email to horrorstoriessubmit@gmail.com of like, hey, I have a question, or hey, I have a submission. And it's just so cool. It's so cool, dude. Like, I need more because all of your stories are your own, and there's never going to be a repetitive story because, I mean, who experiences the same thing twice? There's always something different. But anyways, please like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at Horror Stories Podcast. Send in all of your stories to horrorstoriessubmit@gmail.com. And don't forget, what am I forgetting? Oh yeah, stay hoary, stay gory. Catch you next Wednesday. Bye, guys.